Victoria Sterling, CEO of a $300 million real estate empire, stared in disbelief at the black smoke pouring from the hood of her yellow Ferrari 458 Spider on the highway outside Los Angeles. She was heading to the most important meeting of her career when the engine began overheating. While waiting for the tow truck that was running late, a beat-up van pulled up behind her. Out stepped a man in his 30s, wearing a dirty, worn mechanic's jumpsuit, disheveled hair, and a shy smile that contrasted with the confident air she had to maintain in her world of power. "Can I fix it for lunch?" was the ridiculous phrase that made Victoria laugh for the first time in months. But when the man opened the hood and began working with surgical precision she'd never seen before, she started to suspect there was something different about this stranger. What she didn't know was that Alex Rodriguez was hiding a genius that would revolutionize not only her Ferrari, but the entire future of her company. The morning sun illuminated Highway 101 outside Los Angeles when Victoria Sterling's Ferrari 458 Spider began losing power. The 570-horsepower V8 engine transformed from a source of pride into growing anxiety as the dashboard showed coolant temperature climbing relentlessly toward the red zone. Victoria Sterling, 35, CEO of Sterling Holdings with a personal fortune of $300 million, wasn't used to unexpected problems. Her day was planned to the minute. Meeting with Japanese investors, presentation of the new real estate project, business lunch with German partners. Each appointment was worth millions, and now she was stuck with a Ferrari smoking like an old tractor. She pulled over to the emergency lane, her $1,000 Louboutin heels hitting the asphalt as she stepped out with movements betraying irritation. The pearl grey Armani suit, chosen to project authority during negotiations, now seemed out of place on a dusty highway. The nearest tow truck was busy. It would take at least 2 hours she didn't have. While dialing her assistant to reschedule all appointments, she heard the sound of a diesel engine slowing down. She turned expecting another wealthy motorist, but instead saw a white Chevy van, at least 10 years old, with faded lettering, "Rodriguez Auto Repair, we fix everything." From the van stepped Alex Rodriguez, in his 30s, with brown hair tousled by the wind, a blue mechanic's jumpsuit that had seen better days, hands stained with grease. About 6 feet tall, lean but muscular build, carrying a toolbox that seemed to have survived 1,000 battles. But what struck Victoria were his eyes, green like emeralds, full of sharp intelligence that contrasted with his humble clothing. When he smiled, it was genuine, free of the calculation that characterized every interaction in her world. Alex approached with confident but respectful steps, noticing the tension in Victoria's features. In his world, when a Ferrari broke down, it meant someone needed help, regardless of the car's cost or the owner's clothes. The offer to repair the Ferrari in exchange for lunch was spontaneous. He had no idea he was talking to one of the most powerful women in America, and probably wouldn't have cared if he'd known. Victoria remained initially suspicious. In her world, nobody offered anything for free, and the request for lunch as payment seemed so absurd, it was almost touching. But desperation and something in Alex's attitude convinced her to accept. Alex opened the Ferrari's hood with a surgeon's reverence. His hands moved among the engine components with confidence that spoke of years of experience, but also something deeper, an intuitive understanding of mechanics. After listening to the engine for just minutes, he diagnosed the problem with precision that surprised Victoria. It wasn't just the water pump, but a design flaw in the cooling system. It was a problem that Ferrari service centers would take hours to diagnose. He'd identified it in minutes. The repair was a masterpiece of ingenuity. Using components from his van and modifying them on the fly, he created a solution that not only fixed the immediate problem, but actually improved the cooling system's efficiency. While working, Alex explained thermodynamics principles, discussed automotive innovations with expertise that left Victoria intrigued. He wasn't just a mechanic, he was someone who understood mechanics at a level beyond any manual. When the Ferrari purred perfectly again, Victoria realized she'd witnessed something extraordinary. The lunch invitation, initially seen as odd bartering, now seemed like the least she could do. The contrast couldn't have been starker when the two vehicles stopped in front of Maria's diner. The yellow Ferrari gleamed like a jewel, while Alex's van seemed to apologize for its presence next to such beauty. Victoria stepped out, still incredulous at how easily Alex had solved a problem that would have cost her an entire day. The engine hummed like new, perhaps better than ever. Her team had managed to postpone the first meeting, saving the most important deal. The diner was the antithesis of the Michelin-starred restaurants she frequented. Worn wooden tables, waitresses who knew every customer by name, handwritten menu on a chalkboard. The atmosphere was warm and familiar, the kind of place where you felt at home from the first visit. During lunch, spaghetti and meatballs that tasted of authentic home cooking. Victoria began asking questions. Her curiosity was both professional and personal. She'd learned to recognize hidden talent, and something told her there was much more behind the mechanic's facade. Alex told his story with disarming modesty. Raised in a working-class family, he'd shown natural aptitude for understanding how things worked from childhood. At high school, he'd excelled in math and physics, so much that teachers encouraged him to continue his studies. He'd enrolled in mechanical engineering at Caltech on scholarship, but in his junior year, life presented the bill. His father had a heart attack, the garage was about to close, the family needed his immediate financial help. He'd abandoned his studies to save the family business, transforming the small garage into an enterprise serving the entire area. But his brilliant mind never stopped working. He patented engine improvements, developed innovative solutions, studied new technologies in his spare time. Victoria listened, fascinated, recognizing the type of undervalued genius the system often leaves behind. She'd met hundreds of people with prestigious titles, but little substance, and here she had someone with intuitive engineering understanding beyond any diploma. When Alex began describing his ideas for improving electric motor efficiency, Victoria realized she'd found something rare, a true hidden innovator. His proposals weren't theoretical fantasies, but concrete projects based on years of practical experience. He spoke of energy recovery systems, new alloys for lighter components, optimization algorithms that could increase electric car range by 30%. Concepts the best engineers were studying, but Alex had developed independently. The lunch lasted 2 hours without her noticing. She never lost track of time, but the conversation had transported her to a world where ideas mattered more than balance sheets. When time came to say goodbye, Victoria made a decision that surprised her. She offered her personal business card and invitation to call if he ever wanted to discuss his ideas more thoroughly. Alex looked at the card curiously, realizing for the first time who she really was. When he understood, his smile became more shy, but his eyes maintained the same sincerity. 3 days later, Alex called the private number with a voice betraying nervousness, but also determination. He'd reflected on their conversation and further developed some ideas. He wasn't asking for money or favors, just wanted to show something in his garage. The garage was located in an abandoned industrial area on the outskirts of a small town in the San Fernando Valley. From outside, it looked like an anonymous warehouse, but when Alex opened the sliding doors, Victoria entered what could only be described as a modern genius's laboratory. The space was organized with scientific precision. Workbenches with precision tools, computers running complex simulations, mechanical component prototypes hanging like artworks. But what struck Victoria most were the drawings. Hundreds of technical sketches covering every available surface, diagrams of systems never seen before, mathematical calculations showing a mind thinking on multiple levels simultaneously. The first project was a modified electric motor, a standard unit transformed through innovations that increased efficiency by 40%. The technical explanation revealed understanding of physics beyond any self-taught education. The next project left Victoria speechless. A regenerative braking system that not only recovered energy during deceleration, but also used the car's micro-vibrations while moving to generate electricity. It was a concept so advanced that major automakers were investing millions in similar research. The masterpiece was hidden under a tarp. What initially seemed like a normal electric car showed revolutionary modifications upon closer inspection. Alex had completely redesigned weight distribution, aerodynamics, cooling system, creating a prototype that on paper could compete with the world's best electric sports cars. During the test drive that followed, Victoria experienced performance she'd never felt. Acceleration was smooth but powerful, road handling perfect, range that exceeded any other electric vehicle available on the market. Victoria bombarded Alex with questions revealing her growing excitement. She'd recognized not just technical genius, but enormous commercial potential. In her world, she'd learned to evaluate opportunities in terms of market potential, and what she saw represented a revolution. Alex explained he'd developed everything in his spare time after garage hours, using repair earnings to finance research. He'd never thought of commercializing his inventions, seeing them simply as intellectual challenges. He didn't realize he'd created innovations worth millions. Victoria began outlining possibilities Alex had never considered. International patents, partnerships with automakers, funding for industrial development. Her enthusiasm grew as she understood the implications. But Alex showed his limitations, brilliant at conceiving and building, but without business experience, negotiations, intellectual property protection. Victoria had the breakthrough. Alex had the technical genius she lacked. She had the business skills and capital he didn't have. Together they could create something extraordinary. The proposal was bold. Partnership to develop and commercialize his inventions, with Sterling Holdings providing financing and management expertise, him continuing to innovate with adequate resources. Alex listened with growing amazement, not so much for the figures involved, but for the trust this extraordinary woman was placing in his abilities. It was the opportunity he'd never dared dream.
Enjoying the story? Give it a little like, and don't forget to subscribe. Now then, let's carry on.
The following weeks were a whirlwind that transformed both their lives. Victoria assembled a team of patent lawyers, engineers to validate Alex's projects, financial consultants to structure the investment. Every day brought confirmations. Alex's inventions were revolutionary. The first patent concerned the advanced regenerative braking system. Experts confirmed nothing similar existed in the market, with potential worth billions. Alex listened incredulously, used to thinking of his creations as expensive hobbies. The garage was transformed into a laboratory worthy of the best tech companies. Victoria invested $2 million in cutting-edge equipment, computers for advanced simulations, rapid prototyping tools. But most importantly, she hired a team of young engineers to support Alex in development. Alex, initially intimidated by working with graduates from top universities, discovered his practical experience impressed them more than their titles impressed him. He naturally became the technical leader, guiding projects none of them could have conceived alone. Victoria discovered a passion for technological innovation she didn't know she possessed. Her days, previously dedicated to real estate mergers, were now filled with discussions about aerodynamic coefficients, energy density, optimization algorithms. The most ambitious project took shape, not just improving existing components, but completely rethinking the electric automobile. Alex envisioned vehicles that were integrated energy management systems. The idea was revolutionary. Electric cars that not only charged from the grid but returned energy when parked. During peak hours they would sell electricity to the grid. At night they would charge when it was cheaper. The concept attracted international investors. Victoria organized presentations for green technology funds, raising $50 million for industrial development. Success brought unexpected attention. Automakers began paying attention, some with friendly approaches, others with sabotage attempts. Alex found himself at the center of unwanted attention. Magazines wanted interviews, conferences invited him as speaker, universities offered professorships. Victoria became his shield, managing communications and protecting his privacy. Their collaboration deepened into something more personal. Long days together, working dinners that became deep conversations, mutual trust that grew. Victoria discovered in Alex not just an ideal partner, but someone who challenged her intellectually and emotionally. The first fully functional car was tested on a private track in the Malibu Hills. Performance exceeded expectations, 0 to 60 in under 4 seconds, 500-mile range, advanced safety systems that prevented accidents. When Alex invited Victoria to drive first, she realized she wasn't just driving a car, she was experiencing the future they'd created together. 1 year after their first meeting, their story had become legend in the technological innovation world. The company had revolutionized the electric automotive sector with solutions that multinationals were trying to imitate. Commercial success exceeded expectations. Pre-orders for their first car, dubbed Lightning, reached 100,000 units before production began. Global investors competed for stakes. The company was valued at $2 billion. Alex found himself on Time magazine's cover as Innovator of the Year. The article told the transformation from mechanic to recognized genius. But what struck him were Victoria's words. She didn't just describe technical abilities, but his humanity. The factory on Los Angeles's outskirts became a model of industrial sustainability. Alex insisted on renewable energy, advanced recycling systems, environment promoting creativity, and employee well-being. It wasn't just electric car production, but an example of responsible industry. Victoria discovered that running a tech company required different skills from real estate. She had to learn managing R&D teams, negotiating with specialized suppliers, communicating with technical press. But she found intellectual stimulation missing from previous activities. Their personal relationship evolved naturally. Working dinners became romantic dates. Business trips became opportunities to explore cities together. Laboratory weekends became moments of shared intimacy. They were complementary. She helped him with business. He taught her simplicity and authenticity. Success brought unexpected pressures. Foreign governments courted them to relocate production. Competitors attempted industrial espionage. Press scrutinized every move, speculating about their relationship. Alex struggled with loss of privacy. Used to simple, private life, he found himself under media spotlight. Victoria became his protector, using experience in public image management to shield him from excessive pressures. The biggest challenge came when an automotive consortium attempted hostile takeover. The offer was astronomical, $10 billion to acquire the company and integrate technologies into existing models. Many shareholders were tempted by immediate profits. During a midnight meeting in the laboratory where everything began, surrounded by prototypes of their inventions, they made the decision that changed everything. They refused the acquisition, choosing independence and continuing to innovate according to their principles. The decision was met with skepticism from financial analysts, but enthusiasm from employees and scientific community. It proved success hadn't compromised their values. They remained faithful to the original vision. To celebrate, Alex took Victoria to the same diner where they'd had their first lunch. Sitting at the same table, they reflected on how far they'd come. The man in coveralls and woman in Armani had become partners in everything. The evening concluded with a proposal neither had planned, but both knew was inevitable. Alex asked Victoria to marry him not with a diamond ring, but with the first prototype electronic key they'd developed together, symbol of their shared future. 3 years after that chance meeting on the highway, Alex and Victoria stood on stage at the Detroit Auto Show to present their latest innovation. Not just an automobile, but a complete, sustainable mobility ecosystem that redefined the concept of personal transportation. Lightning 2 represented a quantum leap in automotive engineering. Alex had integrated advanced artificial intelligence, autonomous driving systems, revolutionary battery that charged completely in less than 10 minutes. But the real innovation was in systemic vision. Every car connected to an intelligent network, optimizing traffic, energy consumption, environmental impact at urban level. Victoria presented commercial data that left the audience speechless. Their company had surpassed in market value some of the world's most historic automakers. But what made her proudest weren't the figures, but social impact. Cities adopting their intelligent mobility system had reduced air pollution by 60% and transportation times by 40%. On stage, while Alex explained technical details with unchanged passion, Victoria watched the man who had transformed her life in ways she never could have imagined. He remained the same genuine mechanic she'd met years before, but now his ideas were changing the world. Success hadn't altered his humility or dedication to technical perfection. After the presentation, the couple found a quiet moment in a peaceful corner of the exhibition center. Alex still wore the inexpensive watch he'd had as a mechanic, a small symbol of his determination to stay true to his roots. Their personal relationship had become as solid as their technological innovations. The wedding celebrated the previous year wasn't the society event expected from a couple of their stature, but an intimate ceremony in the same garage where everything began. Witnesses were employees who'd believed in their project from the start. The celebration in the factory courtyard, with Alex personally cooking for all guests. Their home, a modern but not ostentatious villa in the Hollywood Hills, reflected their balance between success and simplicity. Alex maintained a small personal laboratory where he continued weekend experiments, while Victoria created a study surrounded by plants she cultivated as relaxing hobby. The project exciting them most now went beyond automotive. Renewable energy technologies, promising to make every home energy independent. Alex had designed solar panels with double efficiency, home batteries storing energy for weeks, intelligent management systems automatically optimizing energy consumption. But true satisfaction came from daily letters, families saving thousands of dollars, cities becoming sustainability models, young engineers inspired by their story. Alex responded personally to every message, considering these testimonials the real success indicator. The company now employed 5,000 people across 3 continents, maintaining the family culture they'd established from the beginning. Employees weren't numbers in a balance sheet, but partners in a shared mission to create technologies improving life and protecting environment. One evening, walking in their home gardens, Alex asked if she'd ever regretted stopping the Ferrari that day. Her response was immediate. That breakdown had been the best accident of her life because it led her to meet not just an extraordinary partner, but the love of her life. Alex smiled in the way that had won Victoria from their first meeting, that genuine smile unchanged despite all success and recognition. He admitted he sometimes wondered what would have happened if he hadn't stopped to help that elegant woman. He'd probably still be in his small garage, happy but unaware of his potential. Looking at stars above Los Angeles, the city that had seen them grow from strangers to international power couple, they knew their story was just beginning. They'd proven genius emerges from most unexpected places, love is born from most improbable circumstances, and when talent, passion, and vision unite, they can truly change the world. Their adventure continued with even more revolutionary projects, always guided by the same principles: humility, determination, and conviction that technology must serve humanity. In the end, everything had started with a simple, ridiculous question that revealed not just hidden genius, but proved that the greatest revolutions begin with simple gestures, and that the most authentic love is born when you least expect it, on a dusty road with a broken Ferrari and a heart ready to recognize greatness in others. Hit like if you believe genius can emerge anywhere. Comment sharing a time you underestimated someone. Share to honor those who help without asking for anything in return. Subscribe for more stories of hidden talents that change the world. Sometimes the greatest innovations are born in the smallest garages. Sometimes love arrives when you least expect it, on a dusty highway. And sometimes you just need to stop and help a stranger to discover they can change your life.